Chapter 1 of A Chronicle of Frontenac. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Sarah Jennings. The Fighting Governor, A Chronicle of Frontenac, by Charles William Colby. Chapter 1. Canada in 1672. The Canada to which Frontenac came in 1672 was no longer the infant colony it had been when Richelieu founded the Company of 100 Associates. Through the efforts of Louis XIV and Colbert, it had assumed the form of an organized province. Footnote: see The Great Intendant in this series. Though its inhabitants numbered less than 7,000, the institutions under which they lived could not have been more elaborate or precise. In short, the divine right of the king to rule over his people was proclaimed as loudly in the colony as in the motherland. It was inevitable that this should be so, for the whole course of French history since the 13th century had led up to the absolutism of Louis XIV. During the early ages of feudalism, France had been distracted by the wars of her kings against rebellious nobles. The virtues and firmness of Louis IX, 1226–70, had turned the scale in favour of the crown. There were still to be many rebellions: the strife of Burgundians and Armagnacs in the 15th century, the wars of the League in the 16th century, the cabal of the Fronde in the 17th century, but the great issue had been settled in the days of the good St. Louis. When Raymond VII of Toulouse accepted the Peace of Lorris, 1243, the government of Canada by Louis XIV already existed in the germ. That is to say, behind the policy of France in the New World may be seen an ancient process which had ended in untrammelled autocracy at Paris. This process, as it affected Canada, was not confined to the spirit of the government. It is equally visible in the forms of colonial administration. During the Middle Ages, the dukes and counts of France had been great territorial lords, levying their own armies, coining their own money, holding power of life and death over their vassals. In that period, Normandy, Brittany, Maine, Anjou, Toulouse, and many other districts were subject to the king in name only. But with the growth of royal power, the dukes and counts steadily lost their territorial independence and fell at last to the condition of courtiers. Simultaneously, the duchies or counties were changed into provinces, each with a noble for its governor, but a noble who was a courtier, holding his commission from the king and dependent upon the favour of the king. Side by side with the governor stood the intendant, even more a king's man than the governor himself. So jealously did the Bourbons guard their despotism that the crown would not place wide authority in the hands of any one representative. The governor, as a noble and a soldier, knew little or nothing of civil business. To watch over the finances and the...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?